What's going on YouTube? OCD for EDC here. And what I got for your face balls tonight is something a little bit different. We had a little early Christmas in my family, and so my mother actually got me this for Christmas. And I thought it was pretty interesting, and so I have only had it for a handful of days now. I have used this thing to sharpen a couple of knives just to play around with it and test it out. And to my surprise, this thing works pretty well. I've been pretty shocked with how well this thing does, and so I thought I would show you guys. And this is a pretty affordable sharpening system and relatively easy to use, and it's kind of interesting the way it works. I was not familiar with this setup prior to receiving it the other day, and so I was pleasantly surprised when I got this. So anyway, as you can see here, this is the Work Sharp guided sharpening system, or I looked it up online. It's the GSS. So yeah, you can see right there, WS-GSS. So the Work Sharp guided sharpening system. And now, although this thing will cover a whole variety of knives and blade shapes and all that sort of stuff, this certainly would not be what I would recommend if you're going to use it for sharpening recurves. You certainly could do it, but you'd really have to do it just on this portion here, which we'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, just to start out, this thing is $49 on Amazon, and there will be links below in the description. So if you want to check this guy out, 49 bucks, and then there is an additional upgrade kit that I would certainly recommend getting, and my mother did get the upgrade kit for me, so apparently I'm spoiled. But anyway, the upgrade kit is $29, so for $80 you get a pretty decent setup here that really covers a pretty wide range of stuff. So what do you get in the box? So let's take a look at this real quick. Let me open this guy up. The box is a little big here, but this is kind of what you get in the package. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take all this stuff out and pitch that to the side. So you get this ceramic rod, which we'll talk about that in a minute. And this is the actual sharpener right here. And then you get these diamond plates. I'll just get all the stuff out of the box here, and I'll show you what all you get the box out of the way. Alright, so with the standard kit, I should have separated this stuff a little better before I started here, but let me show you what you get with the standard kit and then with the upgrade kit. So with the standard kit, you get the base here, this guy, and you get, I can show you, these pop off, these little angle guides. They're magnetic on both sides, and you can see here they're set up for either 17 or 20 degrees. And so you just flip them over and they magnet right back in, and now you got a 20-degree setup. And then with the standard kit, you get a fine diamond stone, and you get the coarse diamond stone, which, if I remember correctly, we'll look at the instructions here in a minute, because I'm pretty sure it tells you what grit those are in the instructions. And so that's the standard kit. You get what you can see on the camera here in the standard kit. So the ceramic rod, fine, coarse, and the base with these two angle guides here. And then in the upgrade kit, you get the extra fine stone. Again, diamond, all the stones are diamond. And you get an extra coarse. And you also get a leather strop, which has the metal plate on the back, and it conveniently says leather right there. So you get those three additional stones. You also get these two guides right here, and we'll talk about what those are for here in a moment. And then you also get this little bag right here. So what this is, you get a little bar of green stropping compound, and then you get this little like ketchup style packet of white petroleum jelly. So it's like, you know, like Vaseline. And they instruct you to put this on the strop before putting the compound on, which was new to me. I've never greased my strops before putting the compound, but that's what it said to do, so that's what I did. So anyway, that's what you get in the upgrade kit. So let's see here. It comes with these instructions here, and this thing folds out pretty large, so probably won't be able to get all of this on camera. But you can see here, they have kind of like a what kind of knife are you sharpening, whether you're doing serrations. If you are, you're going straight to the little ceramic rod, and then whether you're doing pocket knives or kitchen knives, and what kind of points and what kind of edges and all sorts of stuff. And then it kind of gives you down here, tells you what the formula is, or what the recipe is, if you will. They refer to it as the recipe in here. If you can see that. My camera's not wanting to focus very quickly. But anyway, so it's kind of interesting. And then the grits that come with this, I know I saw it somewhere on here. I can't remember where I saw it. So the extra coarse is 220 grit. The extra fine is 800 grit. And then you get the leather strop kit, and it comes with 0.5 micron honing compound, it says. And then you also get a 42-year warranty, if you can see that right there. So it does not account for normal wear on the stones. And yeah, so let's just trying to see here where the, I know it listed all the grits somewhere. There's so much writing on this damn box and everything. Oh, here we go. So the two plates that come with the standard kit are 320 and 600. So you've got, let's see here, 220 grit, 320 grit, and then 600 and 800 grit diamond stones. And the leather strop with the compound and the Vaseline, which, you know, I thought it was nice of them to include the Vaseline. I mean, you know, especially with this only costing $80. I mean, it wasn't like you were, you know, paying hundreds of dollars for some other sharpening systems that I can name off real quick that you would have $500 or $600 wrapped up into. And there you actually need the grease, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, you get these plates. All of these, they're 6 inches long, and they're about 1.25 inches wide. So, but what makes this thing pretty interesting, so you've got these two angle guides on the ends that just pop off, and you can see here the built-in stropping guide here. What's built into the unit is 22 degrees, and then you've got these two that you can clip on for stropping that makes it 25 degrees on the edge there. So for sharpening, you use these guides here, and then for stropping, you use either what's built into it, or you snap on the 25 grit, or 25 grit, the 25 degree stropping guide. So the interesting thing about this sharpener is the way that it moves. So you know, it's not a fixed angle system. You still have to, there is a level of dexterity that's required here. But you can see you've got this kind of robust base here. You've got these two large metal rods, and you've got these 4 rubber feet. And the thing stays pretty well planted. I haven't had any issues with it moving around. And you can see in all the stones, you've got holes in either end. Those correspond to these 2 pins right here and here, and then you've got a magnet in the center that holds the stones down. Now you can see this on the base here. I've got this little lever that I can slide back and forth. If I slide the lever this way, it is unlocked, and you can just lift this guy right out of the base. You can see here you've got this metal rod that's affixed to the bottom of it, and that's there for counterweight. So this thing hangs down and it's like ballast. And then you can see these two areas right here, and those saddle over these two pins that are located on either side. So when this is in the free position, this sits here, and because these are slightly off center, and then you also have this ballast weight hanging down below, it takes not a lot of pressure, but a little bit of pressure to get it to rock side to side. So you can see here how it rocks side to side. Now, if you lock this little lever on the bottom, slide it to the lock position, now it does not move. It's just in there solid. So I'm going to throw just the coarse stone on here because I am going to sharpen a little knife here, and we'll see how well this thing works and see if I can make an absolute fool of myself. Now, I generally sharpen freehand, so I don't have a sharpening system per se. But so this is what it would look like. However, you can pull this guy off, and then this ceramic rod, you have this knob here, which you can rotate. And I don't know how well this is going to show up, but let's see if I can get, there we go. So the rod is smooth right there, and then you have kind of a serrated ceramic rod, or there's some teeth, if you will. I mean, it's just grooves that go parallel with the rod there, and that's just a little bit more aggressive ceramic rod. And then you have these two kind of tracks that run all the way down the ceramic rod. Now, for anyone that has the Work Sharp field sharpener, this guy right here, the ceramic rod is very, very similar to this guy, where you can rotate it, and you have these three different kind of levels or grit, if you will, of ceramic rod. Anyway, so this guy you can rotate to select the ceramic rod that you want. And then, so you have the diameter of this rod, which is, I don't know exactly what it is, but it looks to be probably like about 3/8 of an inch or so. And then you have this guy here, which is probably about 3/16. And then you have this guy here, which is more like 1/8 of an inch. So you could use these guys to sharpen serrations, as well as, I mean, this would be pretty large serrations, but it, you know, depending on what you're trying to sharpen. And then you have these grooves in there that you can do fish hooks and, you know, broadheads and different things like that. So kind of a cool little deal. But this guy you could remove and, you know, take it to your work and do whatever you need to do, or it snaps in to this base. So it'll snap in just like that. And you can see here that you have some built-in angle guides on either side here. So it's pretty interesting the way this setup works. So let me get that out of the way, because we're not necessarily going to be using that. And I'm going to put this guy back in. So I'm going to put my two angle guides on, and I'm going to go to 17 degrees. So you can see I got the two 17 degrees up. So the reason that this table rotates back and forth, it is for curved blades. So if you're doing something like a Warncliffe, or you know, some type of a straight blade like that, a sheep's foot, a Warncliffe that is just straight all the way across, you would want to lock this in this position so the table does not rotate. If you're doing any kind of a blade that has any sort of contour, or not contouring, but you know, bevel, if you will, or any sort of rounded portion on the blade. Now, this is why I say this isn't going to work well for recurves, because you only have you know, these stones to choose from, and I'm just not a fan of recurves anyway. But really, this would be your only option for sharpening recurves. But anything else, any other type of blade, drop, you know, whatever, any blade shape you can come up with is going to work great on this guy. And so what I've got here, this is the Real Steel Griffin. Great little knife in 14C28N. So it should sharpen up pretty easily and should come up to a pretty nice edge. Let's see. I'm just going to see real quick here if this knife is sharp. Yeah, it is sharp now. So I'm going to take it to this guy, and I'm literally going to do that. I bet it's not sharp anymore. Let's see what we're working with here. Oh boy. Yeah, I guess it's still cut into the paper slightly. All right. That just hurt my ears to do that. Okay. Yeah. So this thing is not sharp any longer. So if it will cut paper, it's just going to tear it. Yeah. Yeah, it's not cutting shit. So, okay. Now that we got that out of the way. So the way this works is you will hold the angle of the knife, and instead of, running across your stone and then doing this to flare out the end and to work around the curvature of the blade, you will just go straight and then just come off the stone, and the stone will tilt as you get down towards that tip. And it's really ingenious, it's really simple, and it really works well. So let me see here if I can do this on camera. Like I said, I've only tried this a couple of times. It did work well the times I tried it. So I'm going to put the knife on my 17-degree edge here. Actually, since we're doing a bit of a reprofile, I'm going to use the extra coarse. Yeah, so 220 grit. So we're going to hog some material off here real quick. So I got this unlocked so the table can tilt, and I'm just going to do a handful of passes here per side, and we'll try to get a burr up on this guy and see what happens. So here we go. So as you can see, I'm just maintaining the angle. I'm not moving my wrist at all, and I'm just dragging the blade right off the edge of the stone. And the stone table tilts as I work around that curve to the tip of the blade, which is really simple to do. It's really easy to keep that nice consistent angle, especially since you don't have to adjust your wrist. So there we go. I don't even know how many passes I did there, but so you can see here that this is pretty simple, going pretty quickly, and I feel like, it's taken off quite a bit of material here. So you can see that if this will focus, that 220 grit is certainly going to be a pretty toothy edge on this guy right at the moment. I need to go just a little bit more. So we definitely have a burr out towards the tip of the blade. But I do not have a burr. Oh, it's starting to come up now. I'm going to wipe the blade off here. Oh yeah. Okay, I think we're good with the 220 grit. Alright, now we're going to go to the 320, and I'm just going to take a few passes per side here. I'll wipe my blade off. So you can see here that this thing is just real simple to use. Like I said, I've only done, I think this will be like the third or fourth knife that I've sharpened with this thing. And it really does a really nice job. I'm super impressed with how quick and easy it is. You know, of course, these stones are all brand new, so I don't have any idea how long the stones are going to last. But as of right now, they are doing a really great job. And so, yeah, it works well. So now this is 600 grit. So take a few hits on that. You can certainly tell a big difference in the sound of it. All right, so now we're starting to get a pretty decent edge on this guy. Oh yeah, so it's coming around pretty good. So I'm going to take a few more passes on this 600 here just to get rid of some of the really big toothy stuff. And like I said, guys, I mean, this thing is just really easy to use. I'm just really impressed with how easy this rocking table makes this. You know, anybody that had fears of freehand sharpening, really with this thing, it just makes it a no-brainer. As long as you can maintain that angle going off of the angle guides on the side there, you really, that's really all you have to do. You know, now this thing, you know, isn't going to polish edges and stuff. You're not going to get, you know, a polished KME style edge with something like this. However, you can get a very sharp knife and a good working finish. You know, personally, you know, polished edges and stuff look really cool, but for actually, you know, doing work, you know, with a lot of blade. Oop, I forgot to unlock it there. For doing, you know, actual work with a lot of blade steels, they actually work better having a bit of a toothy edge on them. So just depending on what you're doing, what blade steel you're using, and you know, what you like. You know, like I said, I mean, the mirror polish edges look really cool, so if you want to do it just because you like the way it looks, by all means, you know, go for it, have fun, and just, you know, enjoy your knives. But if you're looking to just be able to sit down and spend 5 or 10 minutes and put a really good working edge on a knife, this thing, so far from what I've seen, this thing works extremely well. And for the money difference, you know, I mean, you're gonna spend $400 to $500 to get a whole complete setup for like a KME. You'll spend even more than that on like a Wicked Edge. You know, and I'm not knocking any of those kinds of systems. You know, I think they're great and they have their place, and that's awesome. But this guy here for $80, and it does a really respectable job, and I've been pretty impressed with this guy. Yeah, it's coming up really nice. So, okay. So let's pull this this stone off. Now, I will show you just to show you, I guess, but I'm gonna throw the ceramic rod in here, and it snaps in just like that. And then, you know, like I said, you can adjust the finish level of the ceramic and how rough you want it to be. But you can come on here, and because this is rounded, you don't need it to rock back and forth, and so it doesn't really move or rock like the table does. But you can come in here and hit this guy, and I don't do a lot of ceramic rod stuff really. I mean, it really just kind of depends on what I'm doing, but you know, this is going to be a finer grit than that fine stone, so that's how that would work. But we're going to go straight to the strop here. So we'll put this back in, and the same thing with the strop. You want it to, you know, if you've got a curved blade, you want the table to rock. And we're going to change out these two end guides. Now, if you're doing the 17 degrees per side, you want to use the 22 degree fixed angle. If you do a 20 degree per side bevel, so 40 degrees inclusive, then you want to put the 25 degree stropping bevels on. And that's what it says in the instructions, so that's what I'm doing. And so let's get some passes on this guy and let's see what we're working with. So you just set the knife on the built-in angle guide here. So let me see if I can show this. So you got this built-in angle guide right here, and I'm just going to set the knife on it like so, and then drag it up across the strop and come off the side just like I was with the stones. And so we're going to start right here and going to go up and come right off the side. I'm going to turn this just a little bit here and make it a little easier to deal with. Thing works, like I said, you know, it's just real easy to do, not a big deal. So far I've sharpened a couple of pocket knives, and I did one of my wife's kitchen knives just to try it out. And yeah, you know, the thing did a great job. I was really impressed. So for no longer than it took, I don't know how long this video's been going, but anyway, I'm just wiping this off here. So let's grab our piece of paper here and see how we did. So that's pretty sharp. So yeah, I think I could get it a little bit better, but just for the sake of time on this video, I mean, that thing was definitely not cutting paper. And let me, if you guys can hear that. So like I said, it's not the sharpest thing I've ever handled, but you know, I definitely could get it just a little bit better. We'll hit it a couple more times on the strop here. It's a little harder to sharpen knives while you're trying to talk and sound interesting. But anyway, so yeah, Definitely, definitely pretty sharp for sure. Let's see if this thing, oh yeah, not on the camera, I don't think, but I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it's definitely, definitely hair popping. So there you go. So anyway, now that I got a bunch of hair everywhere, um, yeah, guys, the Work Sharp guided sharpening system, definitely a pretty cool thing. And like I said, for $80, I'm pretty impressed with it. It definitely exceeded my expectations. You know, it comes with everything you need. You know, you got this cool little switch here to lock and unlock the table. Um, you can see here, you know, it's a well built. I don't know exactly, actually. Well, I don't have my scale laying right here. I don't know what it weighs exactly. I'm gonna guess it's you know, pound and a half or 2 pounds or something. It's pretty heavy. You know, these stainless steel bars here are pretty robust, but you know, so it's certainly got a little bit of weight to it. But definitely a cool thing. And if you know somebody that is looking to pick up some sort of sharpening system and doesn't want to drop, you know, three, four, five, $600 on sharpening accoutrement, if you will, then you know I think this is a pretty good setup. You know, I mean, is it you know, this doesn't cover all the bases for sure, but it definitely covers a lot of them, and it covers all the main ones in my opinion. You know, all the stuff like I said, I'm not really into recurves. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that are, and if that's your thing, then great, go for it. But for $80, this is, I think, the best sharpening system and the best quality sharpening system that I have seen for that kind of money. So anyway, like I said, I'll throw some links up down in the description, but this is everything you're going to get for 80 bucks. Even the standard kit, like I said, you know, it just comes with the two stones. You get the fine and the coarse. You know, I think a guy could do pretty good with that if you're just looking to get a good working edge on something. I do think the strop is worth having for sure. And I don't know if you can buy the extras individually. I've only seen it in the upgrade kit. And like I said, the upgrade kit's 29 bucks. So you're looking at $80 overall here. And for those, if you haven't ever seen this guy right here, the Work Sharp field sharpener, this thing's fantastic for just a little something you can throw in your backpack. You've got the same deal here with the coarse and fine stones. Now, of course, these are much smaller, so you can see the difference in the size. You know, the stones that come on this system are the size of the overall field sharpener. But the field sharpener is a pretty cool thing, and you can even, it's got a little area where you can, you know, put some things in there if you know, if you wanted to have some little kindling or paracord or whatever, you know. And then you've also got these broadhead wrenches there, which is kind of cool thing. You can flip your stones over to keep them from getting damaged. You've got the small ceramic rod, the larger rod with multiple different finishes on it, and then you've got the built-in angle guides. And then on this side, you've got a leather strop that comes preloaded with compound in it. So pretty cool thing. And so I've liked this for quite some time. I've had this one for a really long time. And you know, I think these are like 30 bucks or something, maybe 32, something like that. And you can see here on the back of the stones, they have some instructions on how to do different things. So that's cool. But this thing's a pretty cool little deal. But you know, it's really meant for traveling and taking out in the field with you. This thing is a really cool system, and yeah, to me, it's the best for 80 bucks for what you see here. This is $80, and in my opinion, it's the best system out there for that kind of money. Yeah, so again, you're not getting polished edges or mirrored edges, but you are getting a really good quality edge. And yeah, I think it's easy enough to use and anyone can do it. So yeah, guys, that's my 2 cents on this deal here. So check it out, the Work Sharp guided sharpening system. It's pretty cool. Anyway, have a good day, guys, and we will catch you next time. Thanks.